Sixth grade Excel, lesson 125, calculating the circumference and area of a circle, recognizing pi. This is a very tricky lesson. This is a lot of new information, so you're going to want to watch this closely. Perhaps you're going to want to go back and watch things more than once, maybe even watch the whole video 2 or 3 times so that you can really get this in your head. So here we go. Referring to the circle on the left, you have learned earlier that AB, BC, and BD are radii, plural of radius, and DC is a diameter. So you know that this is a radius, that's a radius, and that's a radius, right? You also know that this, from D to C, is a diameter. Yeah. That's review. The circumference of a circle is the distance around a circle. You guys know that, right? All the way around, that's the circumference. And there is a special relationship between the circumference of every circle and its diameter. Here's the relationship between those two things. The circumference of a circle divided by its diameter, circumference divided by diameter, is always the same number. No matter how big the circle is, the ratio is always the same on a circle. The Greek letter pi is used to represent this ratio. The actual number for pi is a decimal that never ends. 3.14159265. It just keeps going and going and going. It's a repeating, well, not even a repeating decimal, it's just a never-ending decimal. For computation purposes, we use the decimal 3.14 or the fraction 22/7 for pi. So what we're saying is, if this is what pi is all about. If I take this, the diameter, okay, let's say I cut that out and I make this a piece of string. Okay, that piece of string then I glue around the edge and it goes to say about right there. Then I take another one of those and I glue it around here and it comes to like right here. Then I take another one and I glue it and it comes to like right here. And then I've got a little bit extra, and what we're saying is that it's 1, 2, 3 times around the circle using the diameter plus 0.14, a little bit extra past 3. And that every circle, if it's this big, or if it's this big, it doesn't matter how big the circle is, or if it's bigger than this paper is, that the diameter times 3.14 is going to go around the outside edge of that circle. Does that make sense to you guys? Any circle, the circumference is always 3.14 times bigger than the diameter. Now here's where kids get confused. They can't remember if it's 3.14 times bigger than the radius or the diameter. And all you have to do is draw a circle to figure this out. Because it's pretty obvious that if you take the radius and you go 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and a little extra, it's not going to go around the circle. Make sense? So when you get confused and you can't remember, just stop and think, what makes sense? If I take this little part right here and try to go around the whole circle, is it only going to take 3 of those to go around the circle? It's not going to even come close to making it around the circle. So it has to be the diameter that I'm doing times 3.14 to get the circumference of the circle. Remember, this sign means equals to, and this sign means approximately equal to.
I thought that meant similar.
No, well, it also means that, but it means approximately. Actually, it's similar to that, but not exactly like that. So the answer you're going to get, because you're rounding off pi to the nearest hundredth place, your answer is not going to be exact. It's just going to be close to being the right answer, okay? Since the value that you are using for pi is always rounded, you should use the symbol approximately equal to when computing the circumference of a circle. When you show your answer, you should always say that the circumference is approximately equal to this answer. All right, but that doesn't mean you're going to get different answers from your friends. They should still come out to be the same. Compute the circumference of each circle using both values of pi. Now, let's see. So now let's try some of these problems to find the circumference. If they give you the diameter, which is 5 inches, you simply multiply the diameter, and we multiply that diameter times 3.14, which is the pi. 3.14 times 5 is 15.7. Another way to find an answer is to use 22/7 for pi. The diameter 5 times 22/7, 5 ones, 5 times 22 is 110, 1 times 7 is 7, 110 divided by 7 is 15, remainder 5, so the answer is 15 and 5/7. Notice that they wrote circumference is approximately equal to 15.7, which we got right here, or 15 and 5/7 inches. And 5/7 and 7/10 are pretty close to being the same thing. All right, here's another sample. They give you the radius. The radius is 3 centimeters. Well, the radius is only from here to here. We don't want the radius to find the circumference. We want the diameter. So they multiplied it by 2 to find out that the diameter is 6. Then they do the decimal problem, pi times 6, 3.14 times 6, and then they do it as a fraction, where they use 22/7 for pi instead of 3.14. 6 times 22 is 132. 1 times 7 is 7. And they do 132 divided by 7, which is 18, remainder 6. And notice that the answer in the whole number spot comes out to be the same. So when you're trying to reduce this fraction right here, you already know what the whole number is going to be if you did this first. You can just do 18 times 7 and figure out how close it comes, and then your remainder here. The decimal is going to be quite different from the fraction, though, so watch out for that. Okay, here's a sample problem for you to try. You're going to get both answers. You're going to get the decimal answer and the fraction answer, and then put those answers over here just like they did on the other two problems. You're going to use the radius, watch out, that's just like this last one, to this circle to find the two answers. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solutions. Now let's do the decimal one first. What am I going to do? 3.14 times
14.
14. Good. Not 7 because that's the radius. We've got to do it times the diameter. Okay, 4 times 4?
16.
Carry the?
1.
What does that come out to be?
5.
Good. 3 times 4?
12.
Good. And then we have 314 times 1.
314.
We don't have to do a whole lot there, right? 6, 9, 3, 4. And where's the decimal point go?
3 and the 9. Yeah.
Between the 3 and the 9. So the answer is 43.96. And then we're going to do it as a fraction. 14 over 1 times 22/7. By the way, you are going to see a problem coming up on a test pretty soon where they ask you, what is pi as a mixed number? Okay, watch out for that one. Start thinking about that now. If you're paying attention to this video, you're going to do better on that test because I'm giving you a hint right now. What is pi as a mixed number? Not as a fraction, but a mixed number. In order to do that, you just change 22/7 into a mixed number, which you guys should already know how to do. Okay, can I cross-reduce any place here?
Yes.
Yes. 14 becomes?
2.
7 becomes?
1.
Good. So 2 times 22 is?
44.
44 over?
7. 1.
1. Okay. Now look at this answer. 43.96, and we got 44. Those are really close to being the same thing, aren't they? Okay, so I'm going to write here, I'm going to write circumference
Similar.
is approximately equal to 43.96 what? Inches, or 44 inches. Okay, make sure you have those answers written just like that before you move on. And now we're going to learn how to find the area of a circle. There's a special relationship between the radius of a circle and the area of a circle. So now we're not talking about the diameter anymore. We're talking about the radius to find the area of a circle, the inside part of a circle, okay? The area of a circle is equal to pi times r times r. Pi times r squared. Here's where kids get mixed up on this. Let's say that the radius of the circle is 3. And they have to do pi times r times r. They end up multiplying this times 2 to get 6, which is right back to what the diameter is. That's not what we're doing here. We're multiplying r times r squared. What is 3 squared?
9.
9. So if they give you the number 3 for the radius, you have to do r squared, which would be equal to 9. 3 times 3 is 9. When a number is multiplied by itself, it is said it is squared. We already know that. The symbol for this is a 2 written to the right and slightly above the number. So r squared like that. 3, oh, here's the example I just gave you right here. 3 times 3 is 3 squared. It's written 3 like this with a little 2. The representation 3 squared is equal to 9. A simpler form of the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. I want you guys to say that over and over again. Area of a circle, pi r squared. Area of a circle, pi r squared. Get that drilled into your head. Area of a circle, pi r squared. Everybody say that, ready? Area of a circle, pi r squared. You gotta memorize that formula. All right, here are some problems. It says compute the area of the circle and using both values of pi, the decimal and the fraction. So if the diameter is 8, do I use the number 8 for area of a circle?
No.
No, I'm using the radius.
Yes,
So what's the
divide by
radius? Half of that, right? Which is 4. So here's area of the circle, pi times r squared, 4 squared. What's 4 squared?
16.
16. So they took 3.14 times 16 and got 50.24. Then they multiplied r squared, 16, times 22 sevenths for pi, and they got 352 sevenths. 7 goes into 352 50 times with a remainder of 2. 50 and 2 sevenths square inches. Notice it's square inches on this because it's the area. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video, try numbers 5 and 6, turn it back on when you're ready for the solution. Good. So I'm going to multiply
3
pi r squared. So first let's square that. What's 3 squared? 9. So what am I going to do for my problem?
9.
3.14 times 9. Good. So the area of my circle when the radius is 3 is 28.26. So area is approximately equal to, remember because we're using pi, it's a rounded off number, 28.26, excuse me, or we're going to do 9 times 22 sevenths, right? Can I reduce that before I multiply? No? Okay. So you know what 9 times 22 is? Better do that down here, right? 2 times 9?
18.
Carry the 1. 2 times 9, 18. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 198 over what?
7.
Now how am I going to change this back over into a mixed number? 7 goes into 198 how many times? Let's do it like this. 7 goes into 19 how many times?
2.
2, good. What's the leftover?
5.
5. 7 goes into 58 how many times?
8.
7 times 8 is 56, right?
Yeah.
And remember the answer was 28 over here, so we're probably going to have the same thing. So what's the leftover then? 2 sevenths, right? Okay, this one's pretty easy because it's the diameter's 10. Well, we have to use radius. So what's the radius of the circle?
Divide by 2 and then 5.
It'd be 5. Okay, what's 5 squared?
10.
No, see that's what a lot of kids do. 5 squared is not 10, it's 25. 3.14 times 25. If you multiplied it by 10, you might want to stop the video right now and fix your answer before you watch the rest of this. 4 times 5?
20.
What's this?
7.
Good. 3 times 5?
15.
15. Good. Can you do 3.14 times 2 in your head?
Yes.
What?
8. 6.
6.28, right?
Yeah.
0, 15, 8, 7. 78.50 or 78.5. All right, now we have to do this as a fraction problem. So we got 25 times 22 sevenths, right?
Yes.
Can I reduce that at all before multiplying?
No.
Woo! I got some big numbers to do here then, don't I? So I'm going to do that over here. 25 times 22. Oops. Times 22. What's 25 times 2?
10.
25 times 2 is
50.
50. So you can just put 50 and 50 like that, right? 0, 5, 5. 550 is 25 times 22. So this comes out to be 550 over 7. Now don't be afraid of that. It's not really as hard as you think. Take the 7, go into 55. How many times?
7.
7 times 7. Good. 7 times 7 is?
49.
Leftover?
6.
6. 7 into 60?
8.
Leftover?
4.
4. Good. You guys are so fast. So the answer is, the area is 78.5 or 78 and 4 sevenths, what?
Feet.
Square feet, because it's area.